What does it mean when your agent asks you to be an office exclusive? Let's talk about the implications of being an office exclusive and who really benefits when you do this. An office exclusive is when your home is not put on the MLS and instead is shopped around where your agent works or their brokerage. Another word for this that you might hear is a pocket listing because it's not available to every home buyer and only a set group of buyers. Just as a refresh, the MLS is a database that's created and maintained by real estate professionals. There are over 800 MLS throughout the US, and to go by definition, it's in which brokers share information on properties they have listed and invite other brokers to cooperate in their sale in exchange for compensation if they produce the buyer. Some, but not all, of the MLS info on the specific home sale is then pulled into aggregator sites like Zillow, Realtor.com, Trulia, etc., which is what they use to try to get your info and sell it to agents and other services. But we'll talk about that a different time. Typically, an office exclusive is promoted to a seller as giving them more privacy because the public doesn't see their home sale. Sure, if you're Kim Kardashian, you probably need that privacy, but for your everyday home buyer who's really counting on that equity and to sell their home for the best price possible, it's probably not a big deal if you're not completely private. It's also promoted as not having strangers in your home, but you're still going to have strangers in your home. But those strangers are buyers that are clients of agents that work with your own agent within the same brokerage. And as a friendly reminder, you do not need to do an open house when you sell your home. An open house is just as much for agents to meet new clients as it is to attempt to find you a buyer for your sale. But in all reality, fewer buyers looking at your home means fewer offers, fewer competing offers, and quite possibly less favorable terms within those offers. More importantly, studies have shown that these office exclusives can have impact on fair housing issues and the disproportional amount of buyers that are excluded who do not find out about these office exclusives are people of color. But let's go back to who's the big winner of this and who's really making money from these office exclusives. In our opinion, it's the brokerage and the agent. Here's why. For these examples, let's assume that every time the home sold for $300,000, even though we know at times an office exclusive might sell for less, but let's just make it even to understand who's getting paid and what and how. So let's assume that of the commission, there was an agreed 5.5% commission split evenly between the selling agent and the buying agent. So we're looking at $16,500. Now remember, that's going to be split in half. And then each broker, so where that agent works, is going to get a set percentage of that commission before it goes to the agent. Every single agent will have a different amount and a different agreement with their broker. Some pay 5%, some pay 10%, some pay 60%. So to be fair, let's put it at 30%. So on a traditional system, when you put your home on the MLS, broker A, where the listing agent works, gets $2,475, and the listing agent walks away with $5,775. Same for below. Let's assume the buyer's agent also has a 30% agreement with their broker where they work. So broker B is getting $2,475, and the buying agent is walking away with $5,775. But let's look at what happens when you have an office exclusive. Remember, your home is only going to be shopped within the brokerage and the buyers that are represented by agents that work within that brokerage. So again, let's assume a $300,000 home, $16,500 commission. But this time, both agents work for the same broker. So instead of almost $2,500, the broker is now getting almost $5,000 off of your sale. And the agents still end up making about the same. But let's look what happens when someone offers to do dual agency for an office exclusive. Again, $300,000, but this time the buyer also works with your listing agent. So they represent both of you. Now, this is dual agency, which is not legal in every state, but it is in some. So let's go with it for this instance. So the buyer and seller are both working with the same agent. And the agent will say, hey, since I'm working with both of you, I'll do this for 4%. So the broker now gets $3,600 instead of the $2,500. And your agent is now walking away with $8,400. But let's look at this other scenario. What if the buyer was also a client of your agent that's selling your home? What they might say is, hey, I'm not comfortable representing both sides, but still they know how much the buyer wants to spend max and they know what you want to sell for. So it's a little convoluted, but they will tell you, hey, I'll find you another person to represent the buyer. So then I'll represent you as the seller to make it more fair. So you think, okay, that sounds fair. But here's what you don't know, you're still paying 5.5% of $16,500. But now, because they found an agent that works with them at their brokerage, broker A is getting almost $5,000. And say these agents both end up having to give their broker 30% of what they earn. That's what their agreement is. So then they're both going to end up with $5,775. But there's a very good chance that the buyer representation, that agent, is going to have to give the selling agent a massive referral fee because they really only came in to support the transaction. A typical referral fee could be 25%, but in this case, it could go up to 40%. So when you look at this, your agent, this listing agent, is actually going to walk away with $8,000. And the one that represented the buyer isn't really going to make $5,000. They're going to make less than that because they had to give almost over $2,000 back to the listing agent. So who wins when you do an office exclusive? The brokerage and the agent make more money. Who loses is home buyers, because now pocket listings, homes sold by agents that are not put on the MLS, is up 67% since November 2019, when the National Association of Realtors put policies in place to diminish pocket listings. What's interesting is when NAR announced these policies in 2019, within 6 months, this program, and this program rolled out for office exclusive programs within 6 months of when NAR announced their policies, because they took advantage of a loophole that still lets them do pocket listings as an office exclusive. If your number one priority is privacy, you can certainly sell this way, but please make sure you're understanding your options and your costs, because there are many ways to sell your home, but they're all going to come at different conveniences and different expenses. So make sure you do your research before you decide to be an office exclusive. And let's be honest, at some point you're going to be a buyer, and it's going to be really frustrating when you find out homes that you love were sold already because it was an office exclusive, but for an agent that works at a different brokerage. So you never found out about it.